All right, how many cheat meals can you eat per week and still see results? This is the question I want to address in today's episode. I got actually asked by a current client of mine this exact same question. And so I decided to not only give him the answer and my thoughts on that, but to share it with each and everyone out there by doing this video/podcast episode. So my client, let's say his name is John. He wants to lose body fat. Now, we all know that diet and training are equally important. Both have to be dialed in to get very good results. And so I created a workout routine for him that he can follow at home. So he has dumbbells, he has a barbell, and he follows a workout program that combines resistance training with weights and body weight stuff. Okay. And then as far as nutrition is concerned, I put together a diet template that allows him to eat the foods he enjoys and that he likes. So he has lists with different sources of proteins. He has another list with different sources of carbohydrates, another list with different sources of fats, and so forth. The same applies to snacks, like he has different options. And this way he can pretty much decide what he wants to eat. And like depending on what he's craving, he can put together his plate. And as said, the same goes for snacks. In his particular situation, he can even choose between different variations of chips, because he's a chips lover and he likes to snack on chips, especially late at night. Okay. And this is what I try to do. I try to include the foods that someone likes, because a diet can only be followed long term and is only sustainable when you include the foods that you actually enjoy, right? Because let's say I love carbohydrates and then someone would put me, or I would try to follow a low carb diet. Like it would take maybe 2 or 3 weeks and I just like would go off and eat tons of carbs because this is what I was restricted from. So what I do is, if someone tells me he cannot live without chocolate, then I include some chocolate into his diet template. If you tell me you crave chips at night, like in this particular situation, then I obviously will include it in the diet template. Easy. Now, obviously, John cannot eat pizza every day, whether he likes it or not. Like, it's just not realistic, because pizza contains a lot of fats, a lot of carbohydrates. And if you would eat a pizza every single day, well, it would be very, very hard to still lose body fat, right? I'm not saying it's not possible, but it makes it very hard, because you literally cannot eat anything else than the pizza. And who is satisfied after just like one pizza? And also, it's not that healthy. But anyway, I think you get my point. He cannot eat pizza every single day. Just common sense. But at the same time, he wants to attend social events. He wants to meet up with friends. He goes out for restaurant visits and whatnot. And, every now and then he wants to have the pizza, obviously. It's part of his lifestyle. He doesn't want to give it up. I also completely understand that. Even myself, I have like a weekly pizza night. Actually, we didn't have it. Yeah, we haven't had it in a long time. But in Brazil, like, it was just like Friday evening was pizza night. And this is also what my client John enjoys, right? Now, I told him that he has like this one night, that's a pizza night, where he can have a pizza. And like he can have that guilt-free, he can enjoy himself, enjoy the food, and even have a dessert. All right. What came back, however, is then, okay, Martin, I get that, but how often can I actually do that? How often can I have the pizza and still see results? And as he asked me this question, this showed me a bit that we still need to work on his mindset, on his attitude towards food. Because what I try to tell my clients is that you shouldn't see like such a pizza night as cheat meal per se, but more of part of your diet. Okay. It's like a scheduled in meal. Yes, maybe not the most healthy food. Maybe it's junk food, most likely with a dessert, but you should see that as like a scheduled in meal, and it's simply part of your diet. Okay. And this is a very, very important point, because if you think of it as a cheat meal, then you're like now on diet. Let's say Monday until Friday evening, you're on diet, and then Friday evening comes and you're off diet. And because you're off diet, obviously you feel very guilty the next day, and like it gives you this very bad feeling about yourself, and you think your fat loss would be so much faster if you hadn't had this cheat meal. Okay. But it shouldn't be the case. And like, if you cannot have this one pizza per week without falling off, or like if it would hinder your fitness progress so much, then perhaps you have to ask whether you're following the right diet. Okay. Because I generally believe that there should be a balance in life. Okay. You shouldn't eat all the time 100% clean. There is space for pleasure. Obviously, there is a base for things that you enjoy and that you like to eat. So what I want to say here is that you should see this pizza night as just like part of your diet. Okay. It's part of your diet, and just this huge change in mindset makes a huge difference on how you feel afterwards. Okay. Now, he has this pizza once a week, all right? And it will not hinder your fat loss journey. It's pretty much scheduled in. So, every week you can have the pizza, and weight is still dropping. Now, what happens if you have 2 pizzas, 3 pizzas, 4 pizzas? Like, how many cheat meals can you actually have per week and still see results? And this is actually when it becomes very problematic. Okay. Because what we need to know is that in order to achieve fat loss, the amount of calories you burn needs to be higher than the amount of calories you take in. So think about it of a balance. On one hand, you have the calories that you consume. So this is like the chicken, the vegetable, it's the carbohydrates, it's the pizza. And then on the other hand, you have your physical activity. So the calories you burn for like whilst doing the workout, the calories you burn while going for a walk, even like sitting on a chair or sleeping, all of that requires energy, basically just to maintain your body and your organs working. All right. Now, if you work out a lot, walk a lot, then this one side, the energy expenditure, goes up. And this is then what makes you be in a calorie deficit and fat loss occurs. Okay. However, if you then eat a lot of food, a lot of high, like calorie dense food, pizza, for example, then the other side goes up. And even though you spend a good amount of energy, the amount you ate overweights the other side. Okay. So this balance heads now into the wrong direction, which not only hinders fat loss, but even makes you gain a little bit of body weight. So technically, what you have to be careful with is you should be doing activity, burn some calories. On the other hand, you obviously shouldn't overeat. Okay, only makes sense. Now, as long as you have this pizza night once a week, you can balance this positive balance out with the other days of the week. So let's say 6 days of the week you eat clean, you don't overeat, and then one day you overeat a little bit, have this pizza night, but it's actually not a problem because 6 days you're in a deficit, and now one day you're in a caloric surplus. 6 days overweight the one day that you ate a little bit too much, and what happens is you lose body fat whilst having this pizza night once a week. Now, the problem is if you have it 2 or 3 or 4 times per week, obviously you're no longer just in a surplus for once a week, but multiple days. So we all know a week has 7 days. And if you have now a so-called cheat meal, if you have a pizza 4 days per week and find yourself in a caloric surplus 4 times per week, no matter whether the other ones are very clean and whether you eat very little, you will not only stall your fat loss journey, but you will even gain weight. Okay? So you eat 3 days very clean, you follow a specific diet, and then on 4 days you cheat. So on 4 days you just overeat. This will cause you to gain weight. It's that simple. In other words, if you have cheat meal 3 or 4 or 5 times a week, this can screw up your fat loss entirely, and you don't want this. You don't want this. Should be self-explanatory. You don't want this. If your goal is fat loss, obviously you need to be in a calorie deficit, and you just cannot have the pizza for 4 days a week. Just doesn't work. Almost impossible. Okay. So once again, cheat meals can indeed ruin your fitness progress. However, this doesn't mean you cannot have a pizza every now and then. And I am going to give you a few simple tips, or I should say facts, so you can enjoy life and have your pizza. And I want to share with you, literally these 3 things are super simple actually, but very, very important. So number 1, I already talked about it earlier. You don't want to see your weekly pizza night as a cheat meal, but more of a part of your diet. Have your pizza, schedule in your pizza night, like maybe it's your date night with your partner. Have your pizza, have your dessert, enjoy it, and the next day you just follow the diet template, your regular schedule, guilt-free, without having to do a ton of cardio, because again, it's part of your diet, it's part of your lifestyle, okay? And then number 2, second thing I want to share is every day you have a special event, or every time you're invited to a party, or you have a social gathering or a business event, ask yourself whether it's actually worth having the cake or the pizza or the chocolate. Is it like worth indulging in all those things, or is your fitness goal more important? Here's like literally short term satisfaction versus long time reward, right? Let's say you're invited to your grandmom's house and she celebrates birthday and she made your favorite recipe of some kind of cake. Then go for it. Have this cake. You have this once a year, and you should accept this. You should like celebrate your grandmother, and yeah, like part of it is maybe even a tradition that you have a little bit of this cake. So go for it. But then on the other hand, when you have a business meeting and like you see people snacking on these unhealthy things, Um, maybe you are even bored or you just want to eat it because everyone else does. Is that really worth the calories? Probably not. And if that's not the case, then simply stay away from it, because exactly then you have like the bad conscience afterwards and then you feel guilty. Not good. Okay, so ask yourself, is it actually worth it? Is it like something you enjoy? Or is it just because of boredom? Will you eat the food just because everyone else does? Okay. And then number 3, very, very important. You can eat out. You can eat in restaurants. You can attend social events and still be on track. Just because you eat out doesn't mean you need to order the pizza or just like mess up your diet completely. Back in Brazil, I ate out 5 days, sometimes even 6, most of the times 5 times per week over a period of an entire year. All right. And it didn't hinder my progress. It's working. You can do that. You can eat out and still get amazing results. Very important. What was the key in my case is I simply had my diet template, could follow it, whether I eat out, whether I eat at home. Easy, simple. Okay. So to sum this up, cheat meals can indeed hinder or even ruin your fitness progress. But if you understand the basics of fat loss and apply the mindset that I just explained, then you will be successful with your fat loss journey.